I'm Ilysa and welcome to Polymer Clay TV. Today we're going to be exploring Swellegant, which is a product by Christi Friesen, and you've probably seen it around and wondered, if you haven't used it, how it works. I've just recently started exploring it. They sent me some samples and I just started playing, and there are some things that I noticed as I went along that I wanted to share with you, and I made, I put some on some pre-made pieces I had, and so you can see some of the different things that happen or don't happen with it. So anyways, it comes in a large variety of colors. These are actually different dyes. All these little ones here, they're different dyes, and this one is a chartreuse. There's an indigo, there's one that's a white color, so there's all different colors. So you can see that on the website. Then there's all these what are called metal coatings. So these are, there's a different inconsistency between these. These are much thicker, okay, the metal coating. So they go on like a thick acrylic paint, in my opinion, okay? Now, the dyes are very watery and they don't go where you put them. They're not like a paint that you can just come along and just paint with a brush and have it go where you want. They kind of like spread around and bead up and different things like that, which I'll show you. I'll show you so you can get an idea. From what I understand, the process is you add the metal coating first and then you add the dyes on top of it, and then that helps to create the chemical reaction and things like that. So, but I wanted to explore with it, because I'm always all about thinking outside of the box. Wanted to explore what I can do with it, on its own. So, here's what we have. I have this piece here, which was yellow. You can see it was a yellow clay, and I just wanted to see how the red color, and it's called blood red, the color that I used on this. And I just painted it on with a brush. You should be wearing gloves when you do these. You need to follow safety instructions. These actually, when they sent me these samples, they forgot to send me instructions. So I went online and kind of looked around, and it says wear gloves and things like that. So you want to follow those instructions and do what it says, because it's there for your safety. So here's the blood red. And let me open it up so you can see it. What it looks like, just a red color. So this is actually a dye, and they call it a dioxide. And so I just painted it on here and got this red color. Now, I can see where you would want to use this, where you just want like little bits of color or whatever. I mean, you could saturate a whole piece with the red if you wanted to and get another look, and then maybe keep adding and layering. And I think that's really probably the best bet with these, is to kind of layer colors and things like that. Now that's the red. Now this one here was, let me get the color, not silver. It was one of these, here it is. It was a brass color. And so let me open these up. You have to stir these, because it looks really kind of icky in there. But you stir it up, and let's do that here. And you want to get whatever bits and pieces are on the bottom, because I guess it settles whatever those metal pieces are. And so I just stirred it up, and here's the consistency. It's more of a, it's not like a heavy body acrylic paint. It's a looser, more watery kind of feel to it. So what I did was I just took this paintbrush, and it was an old paintbrush. You don't want to use your best paintbrushes for things like this. And then I just painted it all over that piece right there. Let me just grab a towel here. Okay, so I just painted this, the brass metal coating, onto this piece that was a solid, like, pinkish color. And so when I painted it all over it, I just kind of actually this piece right here was a gold color underneath, this textured piece underneath the lady. And so I just painted it on and let it go where it wanted to go, and this is what I ended up with. And I was very happy with this. I thought that looks really cool. And I could come back and sand it and things, you know, if I wanted it a little less. So you can get a really cool look that way too. So that's that piece. And here's the red one. Now this one was the purple. And I was not, you know, expecting it to do what it did. It created, and I did this again with the brush. Now I could come in and do it with my finger and rub it all over, and I might get a different look. But with this, I painted it with the brush, and I'll show you that how it starts to pull away, so you get an idea. But it kind of left like a little mottled purple color all over here, and that's just the back of it. That's actually the color of the dye, because I had it sitting on a piece of wax paper and it's sunk underneath there. But let's do this, and let me show you, just so you can see the consistency of it here. Let me grab a piece of parchment paper. Alright, so let me show you this. Let me move these away. We'll come back to these in a minute. But I want to show you the difference between the color of these dyes and how they look when you start to paint them on. I'm looking for that same violet color that I had here to show you. Sometimes they look a little different in the, here it is, because it doesn't really, it almost looks like an indigo color, so you have to kind of read them and see what they say. But it's really a nice bright purple when you take it out of here. And so let me dip the brush in there. And all I did was literally this. I kind of stippled it around. And that's how it dried. I did this earlier, or actually yesterday, and let it dry, and that's what I got with it. That little kind of stippled look. So if you're going for something like that, you can achieve some interesting looks. Let me move that aside. Okay. Now this one here, I used the orange or tangerine orange. Okay, with this one, and you can't even really see it, to be honest. I mean, I can here in person, but it created just like a little bit of color on there, not a whole lot. So I don't know that I would go ever again orange on top of orange, because you can't really see it. So, but I thought I wanted to kind of see what kind of look it did give me, and it gave me that same mottled look that I got on the purple one, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So anyways, then I decided to paint on some of the silver. And I used the metal coating, and so this is all the silver metal coating here. And I did have some blue ink underneath there, so you might see a little of that coming through. But that was painted on there, and it has a different feel when you feel over it. Obviously you can't tell that on camera, but it does have a feel to it, so it gives it a little more texture as well. So that's that one. Then there was this iron one, which... Where's iron? And I had just this red piece that I had done for another show, and so I painted the iron on there. And I was like, okay, this is not very pretty. I'm like, what can I do? Maybe I can get some neat effect out of it. So I took a little piece of sandpaper and sanded it off, and I really liked that effect. So that was the iron metal coating. So this is just a red piece of clay that I had textured, put just same paintbrush, painted on a coat, and it's much thicker, like I told you, than the dye is. So once it dried, then I came back just with a light touch of some sandpaper, and I really like the way that looks, and I can see using that in some of my pieces. So you might see that in the future. So then I have this other piece of red that I used some of the blood red and some of the orange, and you can't even see it. So like I said again, I wouldn't do that again. This one here was the indigo blue, and there's a couple blues. There's a sky sapphire, a Caribbean blue, and then the indigo blue is what I actually used on this. And here's the indigo blue, and let me show you what it looks like. Really bright looking here. So what I was thinking with this one was that I would get it down into the crevices of these ovals and, have it pop a little like that. So I tried getting it down in there, and I think I did, but it also stayed on the top. But one of the things I did notice about the top, and it is dry, it can be wiped off. Okay, so you can get a different look. You can even do this right after, you know, you don't have to let it, obviously it's probably better to not let it dry, but you can wipe that off the surface and you can get almost a ceramic kind of look coming through. So that was a neat effect. I like that. Now there's this other one here, and I'm doing all these on already pre-baked clay. None of this is on raw clay. This is all on pre-baked clay. And so then with this one, I used the white dioxide, the milky white, and same thing I did before, just took a paintbrush and kind of just moved it around inside of the lines on this piece. And this is actually one of our molds in the shop that I had done a tutorial on a while back, which you can see on our channel. And you can see this is much more, you know, liquidy than, say, an acrylic paint. And this is all I did. This is all I did with it. And then I achieved that white down in the crevices. And it didn't really stay on the top so much. But if you didn't want it on the top, you can certainly wipe it off. You know, just take a rag and kind of wipe it off the top. Easy enough. So that it's only, you know, on the pieces below. So that was a neat look. So if you're looking, you know, when you're using acrylic paint, it's thicker, so it might be harder to get off some of the paint. Whereas I could see using the dye, so it gets down into the crevices, but you can avoid having it stay on the top by wiping it off. So that's the possibility of that one. Then I got this one. This is the Tiffany Green Rust, and doesn't look like it's going to come out that color. You just don't even know from that. But I had already painted. This was already a piece I made that was started off green. I had added some copper powdered pigments to it. And then I thought, well, let me see what I can do to get this to patina. And so I put some on here and got absolutely no reaction whatsoever for the light little coat. So I said, let me pour it on there. So that's what I did. I literally poured some on there, and it puddled. So I tried to move it, so I moved it around with my hands a little and let it dry overnight, and this is what I came up with. So I just did it along the middle of it, kind of as like a highlight. And I like it. I think it looks really cool. It does look like the traditional patina that you would get. And speaking of the traditional patina you would get, I did it on the same Tiffany Green on this piece, whereas it didn't show up at all on the clay. Not at all. But when this piece here is metal, and you can see that the patina started to happen on the metal, which is nice. So you can, this is not strictly a polymer clay product. You can use this on metal and other different items and things like that. So you're not just, you know, stuck with, if you only want to use it for polymer clay. No, you can use it for other things. So if it's worth an investment if you use a lot of metal in your projects and things like that. So, and I would imagine they sell these little kits. You'll have to go on the website. I really didn't look. So that's that. Okay, I'm showing you a piece I didn't do. And then there was this one last one I think that I had done. And this one here, I used the copper Swellegant. Actually, I used the bronze. I think I used the bronze. Let me see. I don't even think I opened the copper yet. Oh yeah, I opened it. But I don't think so. Let me see. It was the copper. Okay, sorry about that. It was the copper. So I painted the copper on, and I did a nice thick coat of the copper on here. And then I took my towel and I blotted it off. And this is what remained. So this has dried, and the difference between this and, say, the powdered pigments is the powdered pigments are flat, okay? They don't impart any texture at all. So when you paint them on, it just gives you that copper sheen to it. But when I painted on the copper metal coating, it now added even more texture to my piece and more interest to it. So, because it's thicker, as you can see here, it's much thicker than, say, a powder pigment would be. So if you want more texture added, this is a great way to do that. And I was thinking that I'm probably going to come back with a little of the patina and put that on top. So you can keep adding and layering and just really making that piece look aged and like it's been around for umpteen years. And that's really, I think, the point of this whole line, is that you can get that what is naturally done in something by forcing it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, these things naturally occur in nature and whatnot. You'll see rust occurring in patinas when metal sits outside and gets aged. This helps you achieve that look without having to go through all that, obviously. Because polymer clay is not going to just go outside and rust on you. It doesn't rust. So you obviously need to do some things to help you along the way. So I think it's a very interesting product, which I've only scratched the surface of. And so you'll probably see more things down the road that I do with it. They also do have a clear sealant, and they say to use that when you're done because, for instance, they call it blooming. And what happens is this will keep getting this oxidized look. But if I want to stop it from getting, you know, keep blooming, I can seal it, and that'll help to stop that. So, which I don't think I'm ever going to seal it because I like it. I want let it go. That's the way I feel. So, you know, and I'm just going to play around, and I hope you guys will too. You can check out Christi's site. I'll pop up the address for you here so you can go check them out and see all the different colors that are available and the different options. And I'm sure she has some videos and things for you to enjoy on the site as well. So these products that you've seen here are available in our website. If you're looking for the molds, you can find them at polymerclaytv.com and just click on the shops. All right, I think that's it for now. All of our adventure art retreats are now for sale. So we are having 3 in 2016: polymer clay adventure, quilted adventure, and art jewelry adventure. So if any of those things interest you, go check them out at adventureartretreats.com, and we'd love to have you join us. The first one kicks off January 1st with Polymer Clay Adventure. So thanks so much, and have fun creating with Swellegant.